When it comes to insomnia issues, people can have difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early. And waking up too early is known as terminal insomnia, and it's something that can be kind of tricky to deal with certain times because the sort of factors that regulate sleep aren't really working in our favor anymore. And what I mean by that is that our appetite for sleep, especially in early morning awakenings, is going to be kind of low. Like we've used up most of our hunger for sleep early in the night, and then also the sun is kind of coming up, our circadian rhythm is starting to say, hey, it's time to wake up. So during that period, that terminal insomnia can be kind of tricky to deal with. And you often hear it in the context of people saying, well, I woke up at 4 a.m., I always do that, and then I just can't fall back asleep. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some strategies that I use with patients that can be sometimes quite helpful for treating terminal insomnia. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Dr. Parky. I'm a clinical psychologist and a behavioral sleep medicine specialist. I'm also the author of the self-help book, The Insomnia Paradox. So I know a little bit about sleep problems and how to treat them using evidence-based strategies. So strategy number one, which may sound a little bit obvious, is to not go to bed too early. So if you're going to bed at 9 or 10 and you're getting, 6 or 7 hours worth of sleep, you're naturally going to wake up between 4 and 5. So in that context, if you go to bed early, then it's also probable for you to also wake up quite early, especially if your sleep need isn't 8 hours. So as you know, not everybody needs 8 hours worth of sleep, and some of us might need only 6 or 7. So if you're going to bed too early and you're, capturing your 6 or 7 hours worth of sleep, then all of a sudden you're going to be waking up very early too. And then tip number two, we really want to make sure that our circadian rhythm isn't getting more and more alerting signals, especially in the morning and especially during the summertime where the sun tends to wake up and get up like quite early. So in that context, it's helpful to keep your room quite dark through blackout curtains or wearing, an eye mask, something that allows you to not get the input from the sun or other activities that it's time to wake up. As well, you don't want to give the insomnia a function. So if every time you wake up at 4 a.m., you're getting your day started, making yourself a cup of coffee, that is going to signal to the brain and our rhythm that, hey, this is my time to wake up and get coffee and like all those alerting things. So another strategy that can be quite helpful is to stay in bed and treat that time as rest. So take the mantra, rest is second best, and if I can just lie here and be quiet, that's going to be restorative in its own way. So that can be really helpful as a way to make sure that your body knows that is my time for sleep. And for some people, a low dose of melatonin can actually be quite helpful to shift our body clock a little bit later. So, especially time melatonin in the morning, so zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 milligrams of melatonin, can be helpful to shift our circadian clock from being too much of an early bird and start to go to bed and wake up a little bit later. And the last tip is to, in some ways, normalize a bit of that experience, especially as we get older. Our circadian clock tends to move a little bit closer towards being early birds, and we might also need a little bit less sleep. So, if we do need a little bit less sleep and we're sleeping, let's say, 7 hours, and our circadian clock is also telling us to go to bed at 10, we're naturally going to wake up around 4:30 or 5 or 5:30. So, that shift is actually quite a normal part of the experience. So, it might be being able to say, hey, like, this is something that my circadian clock is telling me at this point to, this is when I should be waking up. And as long as I'm feeling pretty good during the day, that is going to be more important than necessarily when I go to bed and wake up. But certainly you have lots of strategies that you can use, as we talked about, that would be helpful to make sure that when you do go to bed, you're giving yourself the best chance to stay asleep until a time that feels just about right for you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you are interested in learning more about evidence-based behavioral sleep medicine, feel free to subscribe to the channel because that's basically all I talk about. And I also have a free guide and a link in the description below that you can apply to your own sleep problems to get your own personalized sleep solution. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.